Absent. Samantha Meyer.
I'm here.
Val Pyatt. Absent. We have a quorum. I take it from there, Mr. Ince.
It's still you.
Oh, announcements by the BAC.
Do we want to do city staff?
Yeah, after the BAC, we'll do the.
Got you. Sorry.
David's in attendance.
Hello.
Welcome. Announcements by BAC. Can I get a little recap of how it went on Thursday?
Sure. As you recall, we talked about the regional plan
A bunch of times.
months ago,
Bunch of times. Yeah,
several times,
yeah, and through the ages as well.
and submitted comments to the folks who are in charge of that, this planning committee, steering committee, some kind of committee. Someone, don't they have a committee? Is it just certain director, whatever, the people?
Planning and zoning commission
Okay.
at this point.
They provided Martin with which he shared with us, with a response to all the comments we made the first time around, saying either we made this change, we didn't make this change is now irrelevant because we changed something else. This is too specific for the regional plan. Those are the major categories, I think, of feedback from them.
We have this on the agenda if you wanna like wait it, we have.
Okay.
Full discussion to talk about it.
So
Yeah,
is the discussion today going to make it into the final input or no? It's too late
Yes.
now.
yeah.
Okay.
It's not too late.
So
Okay,
we did a long recap of like some of the changes because the document structure changed quite a bit between versions, although much of the language is the same.
Good.
And what else did we talk about?
I mean, I feel like the one thing that I was following up on was the proposed new trails.
Mhm.
Bus trails where there's proposed new developments. And we can
Yeah.
discuss that a little bit further once we get to that.
Yep.
Agenda item, but I did a little research.
Sweet. And I still think vulnerable road users should be defined in the glossary. That was my hill to die on.
and what did they say about that comment?
It didn't need to be defined in the glossary because it was defined in text, and I disagree.
We should, I'm sorry, we should wait on till this item's called.
Okay, no, that was good, that was good. Any other updates? From the group?
Last week, someone mentioned that the repaving of the foots is amazing, and I just want to second that sentiment.
Yep.
Along Fort Valley, like I take it for granted now. I completely forgot the way it used to be. It's just,
Yeah, that's up to.
thank you, city.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. And that Route 66 trail is so.
So much
smooth.
better, yeah.
And I'll tell you, I commend you guys. There are so many more bikers on the roads now. Bikers,
I've noticed that,
e-bikers,
yep.
scooters, one wheels. They're all embracing it and I love it. I love to see it. So.
I've had the occasion to drive through the roundabout on 4th Street a couple of times.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't ridden my bike through it, but just driving through it, it's very spacious, very big. I think there's some people going pretty fast through it, but that's to be expected when it's big. I don't know if anybody else has had the chance to ride through it.
Under construction again, isn't it?
It's off and on,
One day, they closed it on Saturday to
That
do
was
permanent striping.
There.
permanent striping.
It's one day.
Yeah.
Have you driven it, David?
I've driven it many times. I
Yeah.
haven't ridden my bike through it,
Hello.
but it's a beautiful road.
Welcome. Yeah, I think so.
We're gonna film stuff for Metro Plan tomorrow,
Cool.
round and round it.
It's just loops, huh?
It is.
It's like NASCAR, you only go left.
They get all the angles and there's all the downs time in between. It's really-
And so where does that video
Never been an
go?
actor before, but yeah, there's a lot of downtime in between.
And so where does the video go? It's the final,
Goes through the Metro Plan's website.
it's gonna be posted on Metro Plan's
And they'll-
website?
And then they'll push it through other social media channels and,
They have a
Under
bunch of
like
that.
roundabout videos if you want to watch them.
yeah. They're pretty good.
They're well done,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. But that might be one of the best in the state.
Not bike.
Like, but I've only turned right immediately, so it was very the same.
You didn't do an extra loop just now?
Next time I will.
I love it. Like, I love like the little refuge island in the middle, so you can like, you never have to stop.
That's awesome.
You've ridden your bike on it?
I assume we're talking about the one that connects to the Milton Underpass, the new
Oh,
one.
no,
Oh.
we're talking about the one at,
Oh,
Fourth Street.
You're-
oh, no, I've done
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Big, big one.
Just gonna go around.
There's so many roundabouts.
Oh. Well, I love the Milton one, cause
Yeah,
that one's nice.
yeah,
Take it
that
every day.
happens, cool.
Yeah.
Announcements by the, others, not the non-BAC folks. Please.
I have an announcement. Matt Mitchell from the public. I just would like to comment that the bicycle amenities we put by Lynch, I've experienced those, that little cut you guys put through there. That's nice instead of having to go down the sidewalk and make that transition to the street. Right, the little for the curb cut, one coming out of the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. Then also have a friend of mine in city limits was complaining about the large trucks parking in the off 66 outside J.C. Penney's.
Yeah.
I see the city did put some, it's a bike lane, but I know that's 66. It's ADOT right away. No, that's us.
Oh, that's it.
So it's a designated bike route. That's safe to assume?
Yes,
Or is it an emergency pull-off lane?
I believe those are designated bike lanes, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who are they delivering to?
I think they're just over.
No, they're sleeping in there.
Oh, they're sleeping there.
Staying.
That seems unacceptable.
Yeah,
Well, they create a,
it's like the
pulling out of
overflow.
J.C. Penney's is a little tricky, plus bikes, they leave enough room for bikes, but still, you're riding, you got quite a blind spot for, as a cyclist and a car pulling out of J.C. Penney's.
Yeah, they were over at Butler forever at the Cracker Barrel, and then they got rid of that, so they couldn't
yeah.
park there, so then they've gone to the mall.
Good
That
luck.
place right there by the Goodwill.
Kim Austin mentioned it last week, so I think there's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, it is a pretty,
We'll reach out to PD for enforcement. We've heard it in a couple different forums from a variety of people.
I mean, maybe everybody knows this, but I mean, truck drivers are mandated to get rest. I mean, they're on mandated downtime from their driving. And if Little America's full, and truck stops between Winslow and Williams are full, I'm sure there's chatter on their radios. All the parking lots are, all the sleeping areas are full. They need to find someplace. We don't want them driving on the interstate asleep. So I'm not sure. Is it illegal for them to park there?
In a bike lane, yes, absolutely.
But
Yeah, you can't
in
park.
my observation, most of the trucks are pulled well off the pavement. But there's not a striped bike lane there, is there?
There is, yeah,
Route 66,
yeah.
behind the mall?
Yeah.
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 Doesn't it transition from the futs to stripe again? Or is that further, am I thinking of like behind?
There's in that section, up to Mall Way, there's a foots on the north side of the street and bike lanes on the street.
Yeah.
Up to that point, and then the foots ends, the bike lane continues.
Yeah.
After that.
It'd be nice if we could work out an agreement with the mall
Yeah, there's parking there.
to provide maybe an exemption for overnight parking for truckers. You know, so we get the rest, they get the rest they need and everything, and it makes, doesn't impede the.
Yeah, that's a good idea. There's malls always got parking space.
Yeah, there's plenty, there's a lot of asphalt up there not being used.
Good idea.
Good announcements. Anybody else? You got some announcements for us, David? Anybody online want to make an announcement? Not hearing any. We're gonna approve some minutes next week, I'm assuming.
Wait, hang on, if we have public comment, I got an email from somebody just before the meeting.
Oh, excellent.
I'll read for the group, if that's okay. This is from Charlie Silva. And he says, hello, Martin, could you please convey these comments to the BAC? I want to thank you/commission for the repairs that have taken place throughout the city on the urban portion of the foots, especially the little section across from the old Circle Q on Route 66. It was sorely needed. I didn't remember what the old Circle Q was, so he clarified for me that it was the section across from Noble Herb. That's what he's talking about. He continues, secondly, the mechanisms, perhaps cameras that trip traffic lights need sensitivity adjustment. They are not picking up cyclists. At Steve's and Industrial, I have sat through 4 cycles of traffic lights until the vehicle approached.
Yeah.
And then the light changed for us. And please convey this message to ADOT and the roads covered by ADOT. A little intergovernmental communication that their cameras are not picking up cyclists as well would be appreciated. Thank you, Charlie Silver, Flagstaff resident and cyclist for 30 years.
All right. Thank you, Charlie. And Kevin will get right on that light situation.
Yeah, that's the ones they put back, and I've been emailing them and they've been ghosting me, but I'll do it again, so.
So did you talk to them about the cameras or about the,
No, the traffic lights, but yeah, the
the
indicator.
countdown,
Yeah,
the pedestrian crossing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I noticed, I was riding there the other day too. And I
Yeah,
was like, now I know why I drive so crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yep, so.
So just for the record, that
And it was Steve's, yeah.
bicycle detection at traffic signals is something that's on our radar that we're looking into.
Awesome.
Presently.
Is it
So it's
largely by camera?
It's largely by camera. Yep, I think almost all of our traffic lights.
Now I just wave my arms.
Too, and I set my bike,
That
I
helps,
put
but I
my
do
bike
actually do
sideways too,
that.
and that seems to work too.
Yeah, I like
By the-
roll up and down and move a bunch when I'm stopped at a light.
Sometimes I'll just go hit the button for the pedestrians and then it changes.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like-
See, I always thought
Oh, no.
the light on your laptop just changed.
Yeah,
See, maybe I shouldn't do that option.
I have these. I don't know anything here.
I don't have anything.
Oh, thanks, you gotta get.
It's, I think it's okay.
I'll hold it up to them. It's- well, they're actually dry, so
Okay, great.
they're pretty dry. It's still.
Yeah, I would do that too. I would go and press the pedestrian button.
Yeah.
But by the time you press it, you gotta get, I wanna get back
You have
in
to
the
get back.
road.
It
and
only
I
works
never
on
do the
smaller
second time.
roads.
Yeah. Thing, it's like, ah.
I don't know if the arm thing helps. I just try it in case it helps.
That'd be good to know if it doesn't work. Yeah, that's all it is. It's not something that's broken or flat or something. It's just not how the cameras work.
I feel like in other cities,
I feel like it works,
bet.
and I turn sideways when I park it, at that light, and then I'm like.
Exactly what we needed.
Yeah. I don't know the actual guts inside, but if you
Your arm.
a certain size rectangle, it's usually calibrated for a car. And then you can give it a smaller rectangle that's calibrated for a bike, especially if it's in a bike lane. But if the bike takes the lane, it's tricky.
Yep.
To get the smaller rectangle in the right spot.
I feel like I've seen in other cities, and I didn't know how the mechanism works, but there would be like a box for the bike at
Yep.
the light.
Like the green box.
Yeah, and you know, like
Up
if you
front.
park your bike in that box, it's gonna trigger the light.
Yeah, there's
It's
some,
also safer because then.
Yeah.
the new striping one of those standard striping symbols you can put there. It's like, wait here to trigger signal. To calibrate the camera.
Right.
It has to be the right kind of camera.
And the old style of detection for vehicles was inductive loops in the pavement. Those still work for bikes. They're based on metal, so they have to be a little bit more sensitive for like carbon bikes.
That's interesting. I always thought it was like, I always bounce my wheel on the pavement.
Yeah, we're all-
That's gonna do something.
Well, that's something. If it worked for you, that was. But those, I mean, we don't have inductive loops for vehicles anymore. It's mostly the cameras, so that is a more longer term, maybe a more invasive solution potentially, but.
But thank you for looking into that. And good comments by David Silver, right?
Charlie Silver.
Oh, by Charlie Silver. Can you send him a thank you message for his contribution? Okay. Approval of minutes next time?
Yeah, we're getting through some of them, but we're still catching up.
Hey, a lot of work. Old business. Should be important business, but let's call it old business.
We're all facing that way. Is that screen good? Good to use that one or the one behind?
It's up there.
That's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
You make it a little bigger.
This isn't like a song.
Good.
Oh, yeah, that helps.
Okay, so as you guys started talking about, we had, our meeting last week was just to talk about regional plan comments. And we went through the comments that VAC had made previously and the responses to them and how they were, addressed or not addressed. And Sam gave a good summary of kind of the different categories that they fell into. So from last meeting, and I guess I should say in the process, on September 10th was the first Planning and Zoning Commission public hearing. The next one is September 24th, which is next Wednesday. So there's still time to submit comments. At this point in the process, they're accepting comments, but it really is up to the Planning and Zoning Commission to recommend any changes to the draft document. And ultimately up to the council to decide if they want to incorporate those changes or not. So at the last meeting on the 10th, the Planning and Zoning Commission started to make a list of potential changes that they want to consider. I think it's called a holding space. And they're adding comments that they want to consider to that list. And then when they get to the end of their review, they'll make a motion and decide which of those comments to incorporate as conditions of approval. So they'll do this again on the 24th. So if we submit comments by then, our comments can be considered as well. Based on our conversation last time, I went through and kind of made a list of topics to talk about, and I went ahead and added some language. Please understand this list is not exhaustive. If you have any other things that you want to bring up that aren't on this list or any other items you want to address, we can do that. I just kind of wanted to give you your discussion a little bit of guidance and organization. So there's only a handful of them, so we can go through them here. First one on vulnerable road users. And I wrote something up that says include a definition for VRUs that is more typically used and limited in scope. For example, FHA uses the term VRU to refer to people who have less protection than occupants in motor vehicles, making them more susceptible to serious injury or death in a crash. It typically includes pedestrians, bicyclists, other personal conveyance devices such as wheelchairs, scooters, micromobility. A lot of those last two sentences are from FHWA. Second paragraph says a broader definitions that addresses equity and disparate safety outcomes, such as listed on page 611, and that's of the regional plan, changes the meaning of VRU and potentially confuses the meaning of policy TS1, which states that we should prioritize the safety and accessibility of vulnerable road users as the primary consideration in planning for streets and transportation systems. This policy should be clear that it prioritizes transportation for pedestrians, bicyclists, wheelchairs, scooters, and micromobility devices. And the idea is that if VRU is not well defined or can be expanded, then it kind of diminishes the importance of that TS1, which is a very important policy statement to have in the regional plan. We added a paragraph at the end addressing equity in transportation and disparate safety outcomes is important and should be addressed in the plan under a separate specific policy. And then this paragraph points out that the study that's referenced on page 611 is a really good document on how unsafe road design affects pedestrians and bicyclists and how those impacts are disparate in disadvantaged communities. It's a really great, but they don't refer to them as vulnerable road users. They just talk about those disparate safety impacts. And I think that's a really, really good point to make, but I think these are we're talking about two different topics here, really. So again, this is just language. Please have a discussion and tell us what you think and what you want your final comment to be.
The only thing I would change here is in that first sentence where it says typically used, I might specify typically used in transportation planning or something like that, in what context it's typically used. Um, Otherwise, I really like the way that you all wrote this up. Also, I don't think you need a dash between typically and used.
M dash and N dash.
No, that's not appropriate.
I like it.
I guess I'm a little bit lost on the first sentence of the second paragraph. Are we trying to contrast with a broader definition? Such as listed on 6.1?
We just want there to be one uniform
Right,
definition, right?
yeah.
Instead of it being a little untight.
Would it help if it said something like a broader definition of vulnerable road user, which addresses equity and disparate safety outcomes, such as the paragraph on this page? changing
Yeah.
The meaning of VRU.
Right, like the definition used on this, which blah, 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 yeah, is some wordsmithing, but.
So I don't know if this will help, but there is VRU is referenced in that policy TS1. It's not defined, but there's a couple places in that document where they talk about VRUs, and on page 611, they talk about a VRU in the context of a broad definition that includes people of color, people in disadvantaged neighborhoods,
Okay.
et cetera.
Yeah.
Is that, did I get that
Right,
wrong?
because rarely would we want to be the ones that are saying we don't want to address broadly equity and disparity. But in this situation, yes, we do want to narrow it. So I think it just could be confusing if you're not familiar with the policy, but it should be, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we want to, both things are important, but we want to keep them as, address them both
Right.
specifically. One is really about vulnerability in terms of, we don't have, bicyclists and pedestrians don't have a protective metal shell.
Right. Yes.
Basically, and the other one is there are, transportation policies do have
Okay.
different impacts on different communities that can become problematic, and that is a good thing to address for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think just adding it
Well, maybe if you said
to me.
the broader definition of VRU in this draft,
Yeah, which
Yeah.
appears on
or
page 611.
Yes, yes, maybe A to the is all I need.
There, in that page too, if I remember correctly, there's some stuff that's redundant as well, because it also talks about people walking in specific neighborhoods, which people walking in a
Yeah.
neighborhood are pedestrians.
Yeah,
So
that sounds better.
do you want to say something like, we like minorities or?
I want you to know that I'm a good person.
Okay.
I'm happy.
Thank you.
Yeah. I did it.
Okay, let's
Good job.
and let's nitpick the next section.
Let's not
Pick it up.
Okay, Great streets, I think there was our original comment was, that it wasn't very well defined. And, they did add a definition. I've copied it here kind of verbatim. This is exactly what's in the regional plan. And I wasn't sure if you wanted to, follow up on that comment about great streets, or if you felt like that it was adequately addressed in the revision.
I think, I know I made at least one of these comments. I guess I mean, I still think it's a vague criterion of, we know roughly what they are, by virtue of living here. And but they do have the map to indicate which ones they are, even if they don't. I guess I don't necessarily, personally, I still think it's vague. But if it would support retrofit and reinvestment in those streets, maybe I don't want to nitpick too much, because otherwise I'm not sure there's any impetus to, or there's fewer mechanisms to address some of those streets, maybe, so.
I like your forethought on that.
Thanks. I mean, I think the map plus adding it to the glossary is like as good as it's gonna get, and it still may not have teeth, so to speak, but at least it's something to say. We all, because isn't Route 66 one of them?
Yep.
Right, like I would love to see
I was thinking that.
retrofit on
Yeah.
Route 66.
that's
That
not
would be
one.
awesome. It would be cool. Yeah, exactly. One is great, we'll know.
We'll let you know. It's great enough, but not too great. For what it's worth, this is kind of my interpretation of it. So if it's not clear in the document, this is just what I get out of it. But your comments originally were, we don't really understand what the difference is between complete streets and grade streets, and how do those two things overlap. And complete streets seems to be a transportation construct that we're accommodating different user groups, vulnerable users, et cetera, on the street. So it's really related to transportation. Grade streets seems more of like creating a sense of place along a street, making it like a destination and not just
A roadway, yeah.
yeah, not just a roadway.
Right.
And so not maybe more land use or community character than transportation. Although I think there's probably overlap between those two concepts, like a complete street should have elements of a sense of place to make it more appealing for walking and biking, particularly walking.
And great streets should be complete.
Just so. Trying to think of something. All great streets are complete, but not all complete streets are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's framing, yeah.
We don't have to go too.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you generally happy with where we are with great streets? We don't have to submit a comment.
That's my opinion, I think.
Is what?
It's as defined as it's gonna get.
I think we could set it up for more effort down the road with a great streets, kind of a sub-plan of sorts. I don't know if that's for sure happening, but that is the impression I got.
Like
when I started.
criteria.
I started really nitpicking this on an earlier draft.
Mhm.
I kind of got, don't overthink it
Yeah,
direction.
TBD.
That, yeah.
Which again, if that were to happen, if there's gonna be some investment in retrofitting those streets, that would indeed be great. So.
Yeah, project.
Okay, next one is, we talked about this a little bit. There are 3 maps in the active transportation master plan that depict forest access points, single track access trails, and neighborhood connectors. Do you want me to define what those are generally? Would that be helpful? Forest access are kind of on the perimeter of the community where the community neighborhoods butt up against the forest or other regional open space, and it's the places where people get access. There are about 1,000 existing 99.9% of which are unofficial, like people just, find places to get down into the forest, even if it's from their own backyard in some cases. We have done,
Well, that's not really public though, like
Those aren't really
public
public.
can't.
yeah. We've tried to identify all the places that are either formal, so we have permanent property rights and there are trail improvements or whatever that get you that access, or used informally that could be made formal as more of a public. So that's the map that appears in the ATMP. A couple of comments received on the regional plan have asked that be included in the regional plan as well. Similarly, for single track access and neighborhood connectors, single track access are recreational trails where they connect from the foots out to other trails. So the Elks Lodge Trail, for example, would fall into that category.
Is that official?
It is not, but.
Okay. It's called the Forbidden Meadow.
Is it forbidden referred to? No, that's.
I don't, like, you go through like. But I see lots of people.
It's still well used, yeah, but it's not official. But it is on our document as kind of a thing to be made official in essence, yeah. Neighborhood connectors are things within town that connect short distances between neighborhoods or between a neighborhood and a commercial center. And they're not long enough or connected enough to be part of the foot system. They don't really connect in that way, but they provide, in a lot of cases, really important connections for people that live there. I'll give you an example of a planned one. If you're going down Lockett, east of 4th Street, there's a bus stop at King Street. And if you walk on King Street ends in the parking lot for the community college. And if you walk across that parking lot, King Street continues, and you get to the health center. So lots of people do that, but they have to walk across the parking lot for the community college. So if we built a sidewalk for them, they could make that without having to go through the parking lot. And there's a handful of other ones that we've identified either as existing that people are using now, or are opportunities for a planned connection. And generally, like we haven't planned connections already exist in regard to people are using them. We don't have permanent property rights. A lot of times they're just a dirt path. So making them permanent and improving them would be beneficial. So that's neighborhood connectors, single track access, and forest access. Again, those 3 maps are in the ATMP. There have been some comments that they should be included in the regional plan. Happy to hear your thoughts.
I feel like with our geography, that we're kind of landlocked by forest. And with our local government's emphasis on infill, and with the fact that there's really no place to build, it seems like these access points are taken away a little by little, chipped away little by little. And I like to see as many of them protected formally as possible.
And isn't there a city policy or goal working towards every property being within 10 minutes of a trailhead forced access?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Of open space,
Yeah.
regional open space. Yeah.
So would it be beneficial for these maps to be in the regional plan? Like, would they have more?
I think potentially, I'm not exactly sure the answer to that. Like I would imagine it does, but I'm not exactly sure how. I think when new development comes in and they need a zoning amendment or the regional plan change, that those would be maps or policies that would be enforced or checked for compliance. Do you understand any differently than that?
So I definitely support if they are policies that would be better enforced or.
Is there any downside to including them in the regional plan, apart from more features?
Yeah, there's a lot of them, but I mean, if it gives it any
Strengthening.
where it's like, you know, okay, but this is in our regional plan, so you have to give us another access point. We're not gonna say no, but create some kind of access there. Rather than, hey, we're just building over this informal access that no one's ever really recognized, so it's no big deal. We don't even have to ask anybody.
Is that a general consensus to include that as a comment?
Yes.
Am I hearing that correctly? Okay. Anything else you want to say about it?
You all think it would be helpful to say, include the maps to emphasize that trail access is, open space access is an important aspect of this document? Do you want to provide any contextual reasons? why?
Yeah, maybe that's just a general. And maybe it's in there already. It's so long. And it's been a while, but, I'm sure there's something in there that says like, we want to have access to our forests. We want to have access to, we want to have these little connections between our communities, and we want like a connected bikeway and a connected pedestrian access to everything. And, you know,
It does talk about that in different places. It probably isn't super specific to like these facilities, but I do believe it talks about those as being important.
And the access point, oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, with so many of them, you might think, oh, it's not that big of a deal, but you take a critical one away and it's like
It
people are going way
reduces
out of their way.
equity, like-
Yeah, it really does. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I mean, that's what I was just gonna say. The more access points, the more equitable it is for all
Yeah.
people to have access
Yeah.
to open space. I'm always looking for the closest access point, even like not official ones.
Yeah,
Does the regional plan honor the loop trail and completing the few gaps that we have in the loop trail? Is it really affirming the loop trail?
Well, I don't believe that a map for the loop trail is in the regional plan. It is in the ATMP. But I don't believe it's in the regional plan.
So there's no point in trying to include it. I mean, I guess it's all within uh, city limits, which is the loop trail.
I think it is, yeah.
are you saying loop, LOOP?
No,
Yeah,
the big,
Okay, yeah, it's not, okay,
Yeah,
I was
this
thinking
has-
LEUP.
I mean,
Right.
what there's
just wondering. if
5 or
it's-
6 5 or 6 sections that aren't complete yet, right?
Yeah.
And would it make any difference if it's addressed in the regional?
It's going through my
I'm
brain.
just asking the question.
Probably, I would say, and this is probably a good general point, like the strength of the regional plan
Unless it's a chapter.
is in compelling new development to adhere to our policies and build the facilities that we have planned for. In terms of like strengthening what the city does, it probably doesn't make that much of a difference. It definitely helps to have that affirmation that the city believes this is important. In terms of like the protections and the legal aspect of those protections, it really applies more to new development. In other words, having something about the loop trail in there would be a very positive affirmation for the community that this is something that's important to us, but it would not prevent us or preclude us from helping close those 5 or 6 gaps. Does that explanation help?
I know there's the map, there's a map of all the trails. So that should include the loop trail, but maybe it's just not defined on that map.
That would be a place that it could be included.
So regional,
Somebody have that open to look at,
maybe.
just to check.
You get that.
I can double check to see, but maybe it's on there already. With Arizona Trail would follow.
Urban
that same
Trails Plan or
category. Well, that's
I think
complete.
that's the regional trail.
Yeah, it'd be in the regional trails.
It's not defined. They just have planned regional trails, existing regional trails. and then like blocks of the Arizona State Land Department land.
Is it mentioned in text?
You checked? I don't.
I have not looked it up, so I don't
Let
know.
me see if I can. Huge.
I didn't want to download it again.
Yeah. I've just had like 84 tabs open since we've been working on this.
I don't, Adobe doesn't find any mentions of it, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not in there.
So is this relevant? Because of the following statutes, it does not identify for future, over future.
I don't think it's in, I don't think it's mentioned.
This is another one of the trails in the regional trails map.
I mean, they don't have any of the trails labeled, but
So presumably, but
yeah, I mean, it looks like. I don't even know if it's maybe under planned trails, because like going over the mesa, I don't see that as existing regional trail for the loop trail.
So you can decide if you want to include comments about the loop trail and the Arizona Trail. One would be maybe included on that map or shown on that map, and then the second would be, would you recommend having it addressed in the text?
I'd like that.
Both of those things?
Yep.
Okay.
I support that.
I don't see any reason not to at least add a mention.
Thinking through a process of that state land west near Woody Mountain Road. That one was sold recently and is getting developed. That's one of the gaps of the loop trail. Right, we have planned foots through there. And I think we intend on one of those to become the loop trail essentially. So that development will be held to the connectivity shown on the regional plan with those foots. And then it doesn't matter to them which one is the loop trail and which
Right.
one's a supplemental foots. But that's how it could, probably how that will play out.
And sometimes, when developers know that it's part of the Arizona Trail, loop trail, that they're proud of that fact
Should
like
be,
that. Yeah, that they have that opportunity for connection.
Arizona Trail runs to my yard.
Yeah. Okay, any more on those maps and those trails? I believe this is the last one that I have. Urban Trails map. And I will, I guess, issue a disclaimer. You talked a little bit about this kind of at my urging, and I wrote this up largely based on kind of my own thoughts. So you have to decide if this is something that you want to include or not. So there's kind of a little bit of context for it. The alignment of a foots trail is an important consideration for both the appeal and functionality of that trail. And foots work best when they serve both a recreation and transportation function. This occurs when foots are useful and convenient for traveling on foot or bike, but also provide an enjoyable experience. Factors that provide an interesting and appealing context for trails include greenways, natural areas, parks, landscaping, separation from vehicles, and integration into well-designed residential neighborhoods and commercial areas. Factors that work against appeal and functionality include indirect, out of direction, and non-intuitive alignments, trails through narrow corridors enclosed by walls, fences, and buildings, and alignments adjacent to roadways. The disclaimer language and generalization of alignments will make it more challenging for the city to work with developers to create functional and appealing alignments for trails. We recommend adding language to promote more functional, appealing trail alignments through future development in neighborhoods. And then there's a few suggestions. Follow linear features such as washes and floodplains, slopes and ridges. Design trails to be part of and integral to the development so that the trail is visible, accessible, and convenient for residents. Design trails and greenways to be a prominent feature that helps to organize neighborhoods and create a sense of place, and incorporate greenways, buffers, and landscaping with the trail alignment.
So developers are required to build the Futz Trail where it's where it's mapped out.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And they're,
That's a requirement.
so like if there's one developer here and another developer here, they have to make sure those trails align.
Yes.
Okay.
So generally, when development comes in, we're in a position where we have to work with the developer to align the trail. In some cases, it's fairly obvious. For example, the development on either side of the Bow and Arrow Wash is going to build us a trail in the Bow and Arrow Wash. There's really nowhere else it can go. That's fairly obvious. In other cases, there's not like an obvious natural feature for the trail to follow. It just kind of goes again across land that is going to be part of the neighborhood. And in those cases, we don't really there's nothing to dictate or indicate that a trail should go here or there. So it's kind of left up to the developer initially, and then us working with the developer to make sure that that alignment is a good alignment for the trail. And we don't really have any good tools or requirements to make sure that that happens. And what we fight against sometimes is a tendency to kind of push the trail off to where it is least impactful to the development, which could also mean that it is like least accessible to the development, or kind of least integrated into the development. The other thing that has been happening more and more is developers want to put it alongside of a street or one of the busier roadways because there's already a corridor for that street or roadway, and just making it a little bit wider accommodates that trail. In some cases, that's okay. In a lot of cases, we really intended the trail to be away from the roadway, like somewhere else, so people aren't next to busy cars. Having something in the regional plan doesn't really answer that, doesn't really give us the tools we need. There's probably a follow-up step that we need to write something in a code that gives us a very firm handhold to work with developers and make those requirements. But having that language in the regional plan will give us kind of that support. The disclaimer says that it doesn't really matter where the trail goes as long as you connect it, it's kind of as we have. And I don't think that's a true statement. I think that the alignment of the trail does matter. We want it to connect. We also want it to have a good experience in
We
between.
want it to be safe, a good
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, and part of the development, accessible to the development, connected to the development, et cetera.
Did you want to say something about that it's preferably asphalt and that there's good signage? Or is that too specific?
Probably too specific. We only require a trail to be paved if it's alongside of a roadway, so it replaces the sidewalk. Or if we know it's gonna serve like a very strong commuter function.
Okay.
Otherwise, we allow them to be aggregate.
Or that maybe they should integrate well with the existing trail as far as like you've got an existing trail that is asphalt. Then your development needs to, I mean, you can't just have a rutted out dirt trail right there that you don't maintain.
So like basic design standards.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that can be incorporated in there very easily, but just thinking about, you know, if we have a developer who wants to just do the least amount possible.
That's protected and to a large degree by our engineering standards, which
Okay.
what trails require, the engineering standards are very specific about how it needs to be built.
Okay.
What about crossings? Where does that fall?
That's a good question. Ideally, we have a number of, grade separated crossings planned. We don't have the ability to require that necessarily of development because they tend to be more expensive, but we've been successful the last the last year or so with working things out with developers to include grade separated crossings like of, John Wesley Powell and, New Lone Tree Road and a couple other ones. Other crossings, like we asked them to plan for, and we asked them to look at what the road section is gonna look like how many lanes, how fast it will be, how busy it will be, and then determine what's a safe, crossing, what improvements are needed to make that crossing, safe. And I think we could require that of them. Did I answer your question? I'm not sure.
I mean, kind of, do we want to just add safety to some of this, someplace in this language, just so it's there, and then in the specific policy, that could be addressed more detail?
Yeah.
Pay for VRUs. Did I do something?
We did it.
That's the lingo.
Martin, in case we get the feedback that this is too specific
Right.
for the regional plan, is there a section of the ATMP that covers this that we could say, can you please at least refer to this section of the ATMP in the regional plan?
Maybe. I don't remember. We'll have to go back and check.
Okay,
I think
Yeah, it
my,
doesn't need to be redundant, but.
well, just, again, a lot of the more granular comments we
Right.
had, the comment was this would go in a strategic or programmatic plan.
There may be a narrow legend there where, like the thin line that, what's the term? We're threading something here
And you don't,
between, if we make a general statement, like trails should be designed better, that might need a little bit more specificity. And then at some point, we have too much specificity.
right, that's what I was trying to think, is there, could you point to
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
in the ATMP as an alternative to including 5 bullet points? Or could you cut it to 2? Condense to 2 bullet points.
The verbiage from the bullet points from the AT&T.
Smarter. Okay.
Just as, I mean, just a thought.
Okay. That's a good thought.
and my other observation, and I don't think it's necessary to change it, but your first sentence of this section is an understatement. Our FUD system is a huge investment that we've made. It is kind of a part of our fabric of our community is our FUD trail.
We could add stuff in it. I think at the last meeting, we had a slide about, Foots is, the most well-used recreation facility
Mhm.
per
I see.
old surveys. And, how often people use it for commuting and, how important it is to the transportation. We could add some of that in here if you want to emphasize that point.
I think that would be good. I mean, that's just us being like, no, really, this is important.
And it's
We're
been,
not the only ones who think that.
Right.
it's been a huge,
Too.
a huge investment. It's been very well thought out over the years. It's been changed and modified over the years. And I mean, it's definitely not a thing where it's like, not going anywhere. And we keep improving it and making it better. And it's kind of like a feather in our cap almost.
Okay, I can certainly add a few of those things. Do you, I don't think we'll have a chance to review that before they get sent in. I could, have you.
I
take a
trust
look at
you.
it. Okay, you probably will have a letter that you'll sign,
Okay,
so you'll have that. I could send it out to the group, I guess, and we
Yeah.
can do
I
it.
think that's a good idea.
Okay. Okay, that's, anything else about that one? Condense, add some of the language to the front. That's the topics that I had from our conversation. Do you have anything additional that you want to talk about or potentially add?
I think that's most of what I caught on a second read.
Any new traffic lights should be timed.
There is a whole thing about like intelligent road systems, I think. we address that. But should we also add a requisite paragraph to the front being like, thank you so much for all of your work on this, and we support the broad overarching policy goals. Maybe we should say some nice stuff up
Yeah.
top.
And at the end too, a little bit.
And at the end, yeah.
Again, before that.
Right. It might also, in that vein, be worth saying we appreciate your implementing the feedback that we offered last time with regards to specific things, like they added a goal on bike parking, because, I mean, I assume other people said that too, but it could have just been us, I don't know. We definitely said that and it got added.
Okay. How much is the pedestrian committee adding?
They opted to, submit comments individually. They did
Okay.
not do it as a group.
Question of unity and
Which is, if I may, comment for just a moment, some years ago, the pedestrian committee was like, all about like policy and they were really interested in that. And they discussed it at length and so on. And the bike advisory committee was like, we ride bikes. Now, like these two things, we've switched. Yeah, you guys are all interested in the policies and
You see,
it's all
we can
good.
be
All of
smart.
it, all of it works. Yeah, yeah, it's all been great. It might be a general station. We ride bikes. So. All right, I think this one, if you're done with your, conversation, I think this one has a, recommendation attached to it. And a requested action. The motion, I guess. And you can, I think we can do the motion in terms of, incorporating these comments into a letter to be submitted, for the regional plan in 2045. A letter signed by the chair. That wasn't a very good sentence.
We'll make a motion to incorporate these comments and this draft into a letter to be circulated amongst the members of the committee, approved and transmitted to the transportation committee. So we're giving it to her or directly to the council.
Yeah, well, the regional plan comment.
Okay, so the regional
Yeah.
plan comment mechanism. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Either one.
We'll do that word thing where you, find a synonym for mechanism.
Yeah, you write it up however it works.
We need to vote on it. Do we?
I think we just did, didn't we? We had a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
Who was, sorry, who was it?
We're so good at
Who was
this
the
big
second?
policy.
Evan or me, we both seconded at
At
the
the
same
time.
time simultaneously.
Okay. Outstanding, thank you.
Can I ask a question? When do we get to visit the active transportation master plan and all those policies?
Boy, that is a heck of a question.
Which parts do you want to look at? The biking parts.
I mean, you have access to it, you know
Yeah,
where it is,
yeah.
you can find it and read it. I think we approved that initially in 2022. I think we updated it, did a minor revision in 2023. It's probably not too far off. We should start thinking about, like getting an update on it, seeing what progress is. See if we're meeting our targets and some of the goals in it, and kind of revisiting it. Yeah, so at some point in the near future, I don't know when,
Okay.
next year or two, maybe.
Better than 10 years.
Okay, do you want to plow on? I had intended to have an update of the crash report ready for you, and I just didn't in time. And we wanted to do it on this meeting so you could forward it to the Transportation Commission, who meet in October. Since we won't make that in time for their October meeting, it'll probably go to their December meetings, or their meeting every other month. We did make some progress on it. We just didn't, I want you to have like a more or less a final version that wasn't ready for this time around.
I appreciate that. That's a resource.
You may keep going for the next item under new business.
Yeah, what is agenda quick?
Um, David knows. He's very.
Do you know what this is?
Don't ask me.
Agenda Quick is kind of the software behind how the city makes, how other city commissions, including the city council, makes agendas. And let me call up, hang on, let me find it for you.
Has this been brought up before? Because it says it's an update. I don't think I've ever heard of this.
We've been working on it.
Okay. You're just updating
So
us.
it's
like-
updating,
Okay.
yeah, we're updating you on what we've been up to.
Say introdate, the introduction.
Yeah, that was. Okay, so here's a draft of a version. Make that bigger. Big. So this is a version that we created as kind of an example for the pedestrian advisory committee. We're going to be transitioning to this system. So we will use it to create your agendas. It puts it on the city's website. It creates links. It helps us upload documents. It makes it much easier for us to do the minutes after the meeting, which is a big appeal. It becomes our meeting agendas and how they're found and where they're found, and what they look like, become standardized with all the other boards and commissions and city council, so that it starts to introduce consistency across all city boards and commissions for the public. For the most part, all the things that we're used to on the agenda now will be incorporated. They may be called something different, or they may come in a different order. So let's take a look at it. First call to order and roll call. You'll recognize that hasn't really changed. Public comment becomes an open call to the public. Same as we have now. What's missing here is the announcements, and that gets moved to the end as informational items to and from commission and staff. So it has a different name. It's still the same principle. It does get moved to the end of the meeting. If you have a strong preference that it be included at the beginning, we can certainly do that. Most commissions have it at the end of the meeting. But if you prefer to have it where it is now, we can make that change. After open call to the public, where now we have new business and old business, it would get changed to action items and discussion items. The reality is for both PAC and BAC, we don't have a ton of action items like other commissions, but occasionally we have them. Part of the advantage of doing it this way is if it's listed under action item, it's pretty clear to the public that the committee will be taking action on it. So they know that there's going to be a vote on something versus just having a discussion item. After that is reports, which we're used to, announcements, now informational items to from commission and staff. Our next meetings, which we begun listing both the next BAC meeting as well as the next Transportation Commission meeting, and then adjournment. I'll show you one other thing. We'll look at where this appears on the city's webpage. You can kind of see how it's easier for the public to navigate online and to find reports and attachments. So let me. Oops, I think I left the meeting.
Yeah, it looks like ours, except there's no certification of posting of notice at the end and there's no city seal on it. But beside that, it looks pretty much the same.
Okay, so this is on the city's website. It lists all the commissions, city council, and all meetings that are occurring in September. So we'll click on, city council is always a good one. We have a lot of things that we talk about. So when I click on that, it brings up an online version of that same PDF menu that we saw. And for every item, there is a link. So if I click on this one, for example, the proclamation for Arbor Day, it lists the staff report. This particular staff report doesn't have a ton of information attached to it. And maybe that wasn't a good one. Then there's a link to the proclamation itself. And then we can go back and let's pick another one at random. How about something on consent agenda? This is consideration approval of a purchase. So again, when I click on it, there's a staff report with information. And then we go to the bottom, there's a handful of attachments. So contract, terms and conditions, a quote, and a statement of work. So I can click on any one of these and it will bring up that document as a PDF. And then this one is a separate window, so I can close that and go back. If I go all the way back to the agendas, there aren't any here, but let's try to go back to August and see if something will show up. There's also a link to the minutes for older meetings. So if somebody goes back to an old meeting, you can find the city council from August 26th. Or the Planning and Zoning Commission from August 27th, and here are the minutes for it. So I'm really just showing this kind of an informational item. Your October agenda will be on the system, we hope, and this is kind of what it looks like. If you have any comments,
you'll still email it out, and you'll still have nice hard copies at the meetings.
Yep, that will all be the same. Yep.
some input on that. I mean,
Good to be consistent.
Yeah.
I like that it's searchable too, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it should make it a little bit easier to, like, we have a lot of links anyway in the agenda for documents, and they'll be there, kind of all in one place. There is some advantages for record keeping, like we can print out a copy of this whole agenda and it's kept, indefinitely. It gives us a place to put all of our documents. Right now, we put them on the city's website. And the city doesn't necessarily want us to put all of our documents on the website unless it's part of the website. So it helps with that too, but
This makes us more mainstream.
that's it. We're mainstream. You all comfortable with that?
No, we just bike.
We don't have time. Can we talk, I guess we can't because it's not on the agenda, but can we talk about how we're gonna replace Kai?
Oh, we have that under the first report. So
Okay, excellent.
yeah.
Are we there?
Yeah, do you, we pull up, our terms and appointments real quick and we can take a look at it.
This. Yeah.
I know in the past, I think we've done like a subcommittee to decide on that,
Market was like,
like recommendations or
I'm too busy.
maybe we have some leftover
Yeah.
recommendations.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah, so-
For a new thing.
Why did I do that? Yeah, that was a mistake.
Here's the state of things, like when you've been appointed, reappointed, when your term expires and how many terms are remaining. So Kai will take off the list. He expired in 2025. So whoever we find to replace him will go from July 2025 to July 2028 for that term. And it will essentially be a full term. Estella's not here, but she's expired and is not eligible for reappointment. So we have to find a replacement for Estella. So we have effectively two vacancies to fill. Jen and Kevin expired in July, but we have your application on file. So when we had intended to have you appointed at the August Transportation Commission, but it was canceled. So we'll do that in October. Presuming to have their meeting then. I asked the clerk, we no longer have access to the applications. I asked the clerk to see what was on file. Your two applications for renewal are on file, and there's one from another person, and I only know the person's name. I didn't see the application. We also have some older applications, but they go all the way back to 2022. And what I can do is reach out to those people and tell them that your application is good for a year. So if you want to remain under consideration, you have to reapply, like submit a new application. What we've done in the past, we haven't had to for a while, but we can reach out to our email list and just tell people, hey, listen, there are vacancies on BAC and PAC. If you're interested and committed, here's the application process. Do you want me to do that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Okay.
and then Craigslist, obviously.
Personals or the for free section?
Facebook Marketplace.
Opportunity.
Yeah, let's cast a wide net. Okay.
Somebody can just go to the webpage right now if they're interested, right? And
Yeah.
apply too, right?
Yeah, you can always apply, even if there's not a vacancy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have on that.
And I think that's what we've done in the past couple of rounds was we had like a subcommittee review all the applications and I'm okay with that. That seemed to work out well.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe we should solicit more before we bother
Yeah.
reviewing.
I should let you know that the clerk is kind of discouraging us from getting too heavily into that, reviewing the applications ahead of time. Their concern is that like there should be some outside more outside influence and less kind of internally picking who other people that we have on the committee, just to ensure diversity of
Okay,
opinions and so
no, that
on.
makes sense,
Yeah,
I guess. So who would that be?
like in terms of the applicants or who we review it,
Yeah, who would review it, like us and who else?
to review it,
Yeah,
usually just staff, like we get an application, we'll call the person and kind of, chat with them a little bit and kind of find out.
I think that's what happened with me, was you called me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's what they're all about, and, why they want to be on, beyond what they have listed on their application, of course.
Because we like to ride bikes.
Out of curiosity, how did we all figure out, find out about this? Because I know I complained about something. And then,
Said you're on a committee.
and then they were like, so by the way, if you feel passionate about this.
I think I remember you were accosting us like in the park or Union Square or something.
That was thing number 2, yeah. I was like, hi, I'm Valerie, I like bikes.
How do we make it better? Well, Valerie, we have a deal for you.
Damn.
I can't remember. I remember it was after the crash on Beaver and Butler, and I was going to a bunch of council meetings and yelling about stuff. Yeah, but that's all I remember. I think maybe then I looked at the website to be like, is there a different mechanism?
This isn't working, this is doing nothing.
Why do I do this every month?
Yeah, so I gotta yell more and more frequently.
Yeah, I think I just heard that there was a BAC here, and I was so excited that Flagstaff had a BAC because I was in Vegas before here. All of Vegas, there is not a BAC.
What?
I'm serious. Henderson, like Little Henderson has a BAC,
Oh,
but
wow,
not,
no way.
yeah, but not Las Vegas. I was like, this is awesome.
Like something's not good out there.
It is
Yeah.
not good out there.
Absolutely.
And
When I started browsing, I was like,
development.
all these other
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
I like
I lived
Brooklyn
in-
areas.
I lived in a
Yeah.
neighborhood called
Hear
Summerlin,
anything
which
for,
is like West Las Vegas, and they like,
And I forgot
pride
about
themselves on their
that.
trails.
Yeah, they want-
But like
it's
different
yeah,
developers buy
sure.
different lots of land,
Yeah.
and they all build their own trails, and none of them
connect, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and you have to cross like 11-lane road going.
Yep.
Yeah.
The crossings are,
We're trying to do better at notifying applicants. I mean, even if it's like, hey, we got your application. The next email you get from us may not be for several years.
Hang in there.
Hang in there. I like this. Do you want to keep going? This is like BAC origin stories.
I got one. Charlie Downey, the newest Superior Court judge at the time, was at the public defender's office and said, hey, there's an opening at the BAC. I like that story.
I applied. I saw it online. I've been working for like some environmental stuff, trying to do bike safety for a while before. And when I heard this was here, I applied and kept showing up, even though I was.
Love it. David, he ran for office, so.
Yeah.
And that's a whole story.
That's a whole story.
but he chose us.
Yeah. Did you choose us or were you drew the short straw?
I can't remember.
Plead the fifth.
There wasn't a lot of competition for this one.
Oh.
Get that?
I'm glad you ended up with us. It's good fit.
Yep. Okay, should we keep going with reports?
Please.
Micromobility share, I believe Chris is still online.
Yep, be happy to provide an update here. Good evening, everybody. So our group, and that consists of folks from the city, from Metro Plan, from Mountain Line, and NAU. We have gone through a extensive period of gathering input from stakeholders and city divisions, and ultimately have created a scope draft of work for what a micromobility share program would ideally look like if one were to come to Flagstaff. Ultimately, this scope of work is going to inform a presentation that is going to council on October 7th. So it's coming up. And at this presentation, we'll walk through everything that we've learned, what committees, commissions, and divisions are asking for, and ultimately look to council to see if they want us to proceed into a procurement process. So if you're interested, please feel free to tune into that council meeting on October 7th. Any comments or questions on micromobility share? I can roll into the next topic as well.
Do we anticipate any pushback from the council?
Well, that's an interesting question, but I guess we'll see. I mean, ultimately, we went to council in February and they gave us the go ahead to proceed. So it's nothing new to them. So it'll be interesting to see where discussion takes us. Okay. I will roll into the next report. So bicycle friendly community survey. I believe that this is one that we're all familiar with. That's related to our application to the League of American Cyclists. About 2 weeks ago, we went through an effort to blast out the survey on social media through various avenues. Sam was kind enough to push it back out on FBO's page, or push it out through FBO. We also blasted it on city social media accounts. Metro Plan put it on theirs, and Mountain Line did it on theirs as well. And Martin passed it to our email list, which has over 600 recipients. Is that right, Martin?
Yeah, well, 650.
So it's certainly out there. It closes on October 5th.
Good.
Will be the last day. So it's been open for going on a couple of months. Closes on October 5th. And I believe that we are expecting to hear back in December. And what will be interesting is the survey does have a written response portion, and we will receive all of those written responses when we hear back. So a lot of good community input to come. All right, keep going right along. Well, Safe Streets Master Plan, city's transportation master planning effort, SS4A grant award. So updates for that. We have landed on a top consultant to do the work, and we've engaged them and are working towards a best and final scope. We're aiming to award a contract to them in November and then ultimately begin work. They're outlining approximately a 2.5-year process of technical work, and then helping us work through implementation with the remaining year and a half after that. So ultimately, work should begin officially in December, which is very exciting.
I'll take,
Yep, go ahead, Carlton.
oh, did you have more?
No, I didn't. I was gonna pass it to you if we were all
Okay.
set. Yep.
Yeah, I'll take Safe Routes to School. That's another grant that Metro Plan got, and we're partners on it. We get a lot of input on the design going on in it. There's 3 areas. I think we talked about it before. But there's a left turn off of Pine Cliff for Mountain Line to serve the basis school and the other school in there. And among everything else in there too, the veterans home or center is over there, but over there also. So that's looking at ways to get in and out for their bus route at Pine Cliff and Forest. So there's probably opportunity to allow lifts in and out there. You have to widen Forest. It can't be a signalized intersection because the grades are too steep. We could create an acceleration lane, just like they have on West 66, if you guys know. That area, like Railroad Springs and West 66 has them. So it'd be that kind of setup, which needs a little bit of width on Forest. So that's moving towards creating that. So that buses can serve that area of town better. The other one is the Knowles Sanawa zone. So right now the focus seems to be on paths from either. So on either side of Butler to get you down to Foxland Park or down to Foxland Street. So you have some sort of route in either of those directions, aside from the small attached sidewalk on Butler that doesn't have a whole lot of opportunity to widen. That's also an option, but right now we're looking at larger paths further away, but ways to get kids that way.
Does that mean larger pads?
Like a,
Pull out.
no, just for a multimodal paths, like a foot's
Just a bigger
pad.
sidewalk?
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then the third area is in all the northeast schools. It's all the schools between Coconino, Killip, Mount Elton Middle School. So there's gonna be a push on public outreach coming up. There'll be a survey that's out, so if anyone interacts with that area a lot, take that survey, we'll try to identify the points where people struggle or like and all of that, and then build some ideas from there. This will all get us to 15 preliminary plan. We'll have to wait for another effort to take the rest of the way, because that's when this grant will be up by then.
Yeah, my kid goes to Sanawa, and last year he was taking the bus. And this year they made it an hour later, like they made the start time an hour later, but then they didn't update the bus schedule. And so the drop off for that, it causes them to have to cross 4th Street,
Yeah, right.
which is like,
That intersection.
and my wife was like, I'm driving him.
Yeah,
He's 12, he doesn't pay attention to anything,
Yeah.
you're gonna get hit by a car.
yeah. And
So
those
that was
cars
the end
are
of
not
him
nice
taking the bus to work, to school. Because they usually have like a special drop off around school that drops them over by the Maverick.
Mhm.
But then they didn't have that. But they have it earlier in the day, almost like they didn't see that the school time was changing. So I think it's just like I don't know. It's apart from this plan, sorry. I digress.
They do a deviation that corresponds to school times.
Yeah, exactly right.
So
Exactly
yeah, so
right.
that-
But then it doesn't correspond now.
they changed the school times, but not the.
They changed the school times and the new schedule came out and it's like they printed 8,000 copies of the new schedule and it's like too late. It happens. I mean, they have a lot of details to look at.
No, I know. Your kid was loving the bus before, right?
Yeah, but you know, it's unfortunate that you ride in the car a few times and you're like, wow, this is a lot easier.
Yeah.
That's his little 12-year-old mind's like, cool. Work Valley Road and multimodal improvements.
Yes, I'll take this one. So I believe in our last meeting, we were any day from an award notice. And the next day we found out that we had been awarded, which is exciting.
Hooray.
How much did we get?
On the scale of $600,000, and the city has to match slightly less than $50,000. So it's a really solid award for scoping of sidewalk infill along Fort Valley Road between Navajo Drive to the south near Mama Bees and Seacrest Elementary to the north. So there's several missing sidewalk segments. This will scope their design as well as enhancing scoping of enhanced crossings at a few locations along the way, and also looking to balance bike shoulders along that corridor.
Very good.
Heck, yeah.
Yes,
We
very
have a
exciting.
hand up.
Yeah, I see it. It's Elaine. Go ahead, Elaine.
Hey, Christopher and Martin, I just wanted to say, I was in your meeting last month and we just wanted to make sure that you got the that we didn't jump the gun and speak up and say you got something, because I knew the awards were coming. But congratulations, and we really look forward to working with you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Elaine. Appreciate it. So next steps involve adding that to Metro Plan's TIP. And once that happens, we can fill out our project initiation packet, and ADOT will look to assign us a project manager. So a lot of fun to come.
Great. A great street. Yes.
And complete.
Great and complete.
Excellent news.
Awesome.
Mount Elton Baseball Trail.
That's something on your mind. I'll cover this one. This is really the same news. The Forest Service applied for scoping for a transportation alternatives grant for the trail along Mount Eldon. Basically from the Schultz Pass trailhead all the way to
Out by the mall.
yeah, Highway 89.
And is it even past it to like?
And,
another
to
trailhead?
Townsend Winona, yes, all the way to Townsend Winona,
Wow.
yes. And they were awarded, they were also awarded that.
That's great.
Nice. How much did we get?
How much? Elaine, do you remember how much that one was?
Elaine, you're on mute.
Elaine, do you know how much the Forest Service grant was for the Mount Eldon Base Trail?
Yeah, let me just check real quick.
Okay.
Let's see.
And then we should mention there's a handful of places where that trail connects to trails and like little connecting trails in the city that will give people in those neighborhoods all access to it. Way. And we're working with property owner at the end of the North 89 trail for an easement across. It's that old Lutheran church right at the corner of Snowflake and 89. And that will
Yeah,
connect.
and that's, sorry.
That will connect from the Forest Service's Mount Eldon Base Trail to the North 89 Foots Trail. So kind of a direct line.
This is awesome.
And the Forest Service, if you put out the back of Buffalo Park, they built like a 4-foot wide aggregate surface trail. It will resemble that ultimately. Sorry, Elaine, go ahead.
No, that's okay. So the Mount Eldon Lookout Road to US 89 awarded to the Coconino National Forest with obviously with Metro Plan as a COG MPO. That award amount is $485,645 for their design project.
Bands. It's like
Congratulations.
7 figures between those two grants. That's awesome.
Well done.
It was a good Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their Forest Service is really excited about that possibility too,
Oh, it's gonna be great.
about that trail, yeah.
Getting to the east side's gonna be so much quicker from northwest Flagstaff, just like boom.
And scenic.
And scenic.
And scenic.
Everyone's just gonna be so happy. All the time.
Yeah, it's great news. All right, let's keep it rolling.
Chris, you want this one? Butler Avenue?
Sure. Oh, yes, I do see that that's the one that we're on. So my list jumps around a little bit. So Butler Avenue, SS4A grant project. Not a ton to expand on from our last meeting. Ultimately, we are working with WSP as the design consultant that was selected to do the work. And they're breaking the design into 2 phases. Phase 1 includes the environmental clearances and taking the project to 30% design. And then phase 2 will take the project from 30% design to 100. We are finalizing a contract for phase 1 work, ultimately to be completed by the end of February. So as far as creating a bit of a mental timeline, we should be at 30% design and have environmental clearances by March, and then be able to move on to towards final design through next year. So that project is also moving right along.
I'll take the, next one, Schweitzer Canyon Foots Trail. The only update I have is it's under construction. It may not be, it likely won't be finished this construction season, but they'll come back in the spring and finish it. ADOT Route 66 pavement preservation is just a resurfacing of the street, and they're doing it pretty much the entire length through Flagstaff from Woody Mountain Road, past Woody Mountain Road, all the way to Fanning on the east side. So we are working with them to include some multimodal improvements, which include adding a shoulder along Route 66 wherever it's missing. So on the west side, there's a couple of places where there's no shoulder whatsoever. So we think there may be opportunities to add it. On the east side, it's generally in place, but at a lot of places where there's a dedicated right turn lane, the shoulder drops, and we think there may be an opportunity to add it in those places as well. Their initial plans show a couple of either adding sidewalks or replacing foot trails, and we're working with them to see if we can convert those sidewalks to a foot trail. This would be along the north side of Route 66 from Woodlands Village to Railroad Springs. This is all very preliminary. We have offered to add money to the project to make that, to take it from a sidewalk to a foot trail. But really it's up to ADOT if that gets incorporated into the project or not. And the other one would be realigning the trail along East Route 66, where there's one of our older foot trails is 8 feet wide, right up against the road. There's a place to kind of wind it. It actually was graded for a future trail. Again, this is very preliminary. It's up to ADOT. We're just beginning kind of the process of working with them. So we'll provide you any updates as we hear anything positive or affirmative.
Well, good job identifying that opportunity and at least giving them something to think about. At least make them say no, right?
Yeah, you can only ask. And offer to bring money. That often helps. Next one is Casper Lynch. I just wanted to point out that it's finished. It's a new sidewalk to the foot trail, bike lanes along the whole length. So now there's consistent bike lanes from Fanning or Lockett on one end, all the way down Caspar to Lynch, all the way to Cummings on the other end. As bike lanes, we added an off ramp, kind of a ramp to get to the foot trail. I think somebody referenced, who talked about that?
Heck yeah, that was super
That's
nice.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We did it for Matt.
Yeah. Nice.
You'd be able to use that someday. That was kind of another opportunity because the city was redoing that, resurfacing those two streets. And we brought some money and Carlton did a really great design in a very short amount of time. And it was installed. So it was kind of, unlike some projects that we have that kind of take a long time to like get through the planning, design and the construction, these go pretty quickly. And so we've been kind of successful. We want to keep looking for these opportunities to do these things. What do they call it? Faster, lighter, cheaper, easier. Isn't there like an acronym for that?
And with the big success with that project, didn't we add somebody's accessibility, wasn't it? That property owner?
Yeah.
Yeah, the brand new
Better
sidewalk
accessibility.
part. So there's the cut in on the existing sidewalk and then brand new sidewalk.
Yeah.
The farthest west part.
But they must have been appreciative of those quick efforts.
He was like, he reached out
Awesome.
and thanked us for
It's a
doing
win.
that. Yeah.
Like that.
You let them know he's invited to the BAC meeting.
And I'll take the last one is Cedar Avenue restriping. This fall, Cedar Avenue from the new roundabout to West Street is going to be resurfaced. And we're going to add buffers to the bike lane.
Oh, that's nice.
Again, this is a project of opportunity. And again, Carlton prepared the plans for it.
Is it gonna be like a buffer like they have on Beaver?
Physically, no, it's just
Like a
gonna
double
be
line?
a stripe.
A double line.
That would still. be
Yeah,
something.
double stripe.
Yeah.
There's gonna be
Double stripe.
a good mix of green in there too, so all the crossings will have the green strip, skip striping, and where it starts and ends will have green.
You guys are just
There you
bragging now.
Yeah.
And it'll share,
Flexing.
there'll be a new bus stops set up too. There's 4 bus stops along there that'll come in, it'll become a shared lane, bike lane, bus lane for those little short segments.
No
That
new
way.
intersections to let people cross Cedar, though. That's, I assume, beyond the scope of what you can do. Not
On
sure.
this one, yeah, that one's, that's within that safe routes to school though.
Okay,
You're looking at.
Awesome.
yeah, because
Read
I
the-
We looked into
Designing
that to try to
more.
see if we could make that
think you
happen.
could do it, yeah. Because I think I know we've talked about it before, because there's many bus stops that people just have to run. So,
We moved one of them closer to west, the one was in front of the Little Caesars.
Mhm.
That's just the next driveway further west and closer to west, so hopefully encourages a bit more crossing at that signal.
Cedar's dimensions are more generous than we're used to. So I think, correct me, but I think the buffers will be 3 feet wide.
oh, nice.
So it's more generous than like on Huntington, for example.
And a 5-foot lane,
Lots like-
lots of room. The travel lanes are still 11 feet too, so it tells you how over wide they are.
Mhm.
Wow.
This isn't on your agenda, but do you just happen to know when San Francisco's getting restriped from what they just did, like up towards the hospital?
Oh, yeah.
Because it is hellish to write.
It's
Now, I should have said this at the beginning of the meeting. I apologize, but keep forgetting to say it. And
Or
there's-
2 days ago.
it's not, I just take the lane, but I've,
Yeah, I just used the
Yeah.
whole lane.
but it is really, now I've seen more people like parking, which you, I think, could do before in some spots, but some spots were more like a wide. It's really unclear what was happening there before, if it was a shoulder or a bike lane, but more people are parking on it, which forces you as a bike into what appears to be the lane.
We'll have to look. I mean, I know there's parking, but there should never be, and this is between like, let's say Cherry and
Mhm.
Columbus or Schweitzer Canyon.
Spicer
yeah,
Canyon, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, to
All the way
the
up the
light,
hill.
yeah, all the way up the hill.
The bike lane should never be discontinuous along there. So if people are parking in something, that they're parking in a bike lane.
Right now, there's nothing.
There's nothing if
There's
people
no
are
lane.
parking there, yeah.
It's just.
There's not even an indicator. I mean, there's nothing on the road either, to be fair. There's like those little white tappy things. I don't know what you call them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does mean that people are parking on what looks like, I assume to them, a shoulder.
Okay, well, we'll
And
track that.
along
We'll
it,
track
yeah.
that now and see what's going on.
There should be room except for on the steep part of the hill between Cherry and Dale. I think that was the previous condition, right? There's room for both.
The previous, there's some room and then it goes away
Goes
closer to
away.
Schweitzer by the church. That's where, like, there is room for parking closer
Oh,
to
yeah.
the residences.
It's when there's no more homes.
Yeah, but
then
now
there's no
people
more
are
yeah.
parking up closer to the church, yeah. Right? Is that what you've seen? That's what
Yeah.
I've seen. But they're honestly, they're parking all along, but there did used to be room. It's just because there's no longer a bike lane, now they're parking further in to the street, to the
And
road.
it's just really scary to be like, I think I'm supposed to be over here, but like, I don't want people to go, so you just take the
Yeah,
lane
just
and,
take the
yeah.
lane. And because it's 2 lane, then people can pass. And so far, no one's honked at me, but
That's a resurfacing that we didn't.
It's also
anything with,
very
so
hard
that
to
they'll
ride on
probably
that hill.
repaint it as it was.
Which is fine. I just want it to be repainted.
It's
Yeah.
very,
There wasn't
Yeah.
bike lane.
Yeah.
yeah,
Bikes can use the whole car lane, like a.
Only from, through downtown, like from,
although
Well,
at
really
the
from
intersection
under
of
to
Schweitzer,
there.
I always take the whole lane, like right
I feel
around
like I
there,
always
maybe a
take
couple
the whole
hundred feet from there, because it gets really narrow and it drops off, which they may
Yes.
now.
right, and after Schweitzer going north, there is no bike lane for that first bit.
That too,
Right.
yeah, so I would always move to the center
Yeah, so you
anyway.
take the lane.
But
Yeah.
isn't it variable width too, like approaching Schweitzer Canyon? I feel like it gets narrower. Am I making this up? This is my memory, it's like the pavement part kind of dropped off and it got.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It kind of like falls apart.
Yeah, it loses parking.
lanes don't grow.
I think the bike lane continues to the intersection.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah,
And
but
then you
then
lose
because
it.
you lose it, I always just find it in the center anyway.
Yeah, you
Get it
yeah,
again.
you have no receiving lane. So.
Yep.
Good too.
Yeah, when they were repaving it, it was so scary because it was like, okay, everybody's in this one lane and everybody's right behind me, but I'm not making room for them to go around because, yeah,
Yeah,
it
'cause it's too narrow.
was super scary.
You're going uphill.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
and
slow.
probably late to work.
Yeah.
so.
And thank you for that stop line on Sitgreaves with the sign that says through traffic does not stop.
We'll pass it along.
Yeah, I'd like to see that on all those cross streets all the way down.
What's the, on St. Graves, what's the cross street?
Aspen. Well, it'd be cool if there were stop lines on Aspen and Birch. And I mean, all those that don't. It's like, mortifying to ride down the road with all those cars, just like, it's the high school. Like, all those 16-year-olds are driving to high school. And they're like huge trucks and just like itching to run you over.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
It happened at about age 24, right?
Yes,
For men.
theoretically.
For men.
All right, we're through the agenda.
Hey, good job. What is 6:17?
I guess last two things are, our next meeting is October 16th. The next Transportation Commission meeting is October 1st.
Who's going to the Transportation Commission meeting?
I
Who's on the?
think I had volunteered myself
Okay.
because it's on my calendar and it said you are going to that. So,
Still good?
yeah, I'm still
Okay.
good.
That's how
We'll
you
decide
know.
at our
Yeah.
next meeting who goes to the next one.
Yeah, I was supposed to
We'll
do
get
the
an update.
August one, but it was canceled, so
Oh.
I'll do a future one, but if you can do October, that's great, because
Yeah.
October's busy for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
maybe
happy.
December, get the holiday
yeah.
transportation meeting.
Yay.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. This meeting is adjourned. Thank everybody online. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks all. Have a good night.
Thank you. All those
Yeah,
things.
I know that is really exciting.
We'll see.
This is what happens when you put resources.